episode 1 of the Round Cirlce, starring the fifth general,
Mr. Z,
Zaccheus
and Cinemascapes.
Cinemascapes.
Yeah.
All right. So, everybody, just welcome to the new show. Last week, if anybody was listening to the Mr. Z and Fifth podcast, we were talking about hip hop for sale.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to make this a 2-part series and a lead into the new podcast. So just to explain the direction of the podcast and what this is about.
Yeah.
This podcast is more so geared towards music, entertainment, and other subjects as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the music entertainment, but it's more of a niche market based towards the music, hip hop music,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We like to make this an interesting, though it's a niche market.
Yeah.
But I think this is something that we created for an audience that I think would specifically want to hear the three of us talk about,
Yeah.
the particular topics pertaining to this show and what this show fits. So what we want to do is start this off as a podcast.
Yes.
And then lead this to a live show soon, okay?
Oh yeah.
So,
that's
that's
our goal right there.
So we ask for your support. We
Yeah.
don't have any PayPal donations set up yet.
but we'll get there.
But we
Yeah,
want
man.
we have a goal towards advertisement. So anybody who wants to contact us for advertisement can either contact me at the Fifth General on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Zaccheus, where can they reach you?
Yeah, at Wayne Backus 2 on Twitter, on Instagram, Zaccheus Zacchus B73, and they can reach me also on Facebook, Wayne Backus on Facebook.
Okay. So where can they reach you, Cinema?
My page, Cinemascapes on Twitter, and Cinemascapes on IG.
Okay, good. So let's go into it. So I started off like this. Last week we left off talking about the bling era, and after the bling era, I just hope my errors are correct. Was there an era in between the bling era and the crunk era?
No, I think it's what from the bling era it went into let me see, from the bling era it went straight into the crunk era.
Okay.
It went straight because remember that's all Southern hip hop was getting exposure around that time. All like the South. Everybody, if you wasn't from the South, you ain't getting put on. I remember that moment. Yo, Cinemascapes, you remember that moment? At that time, yeah, it was like early 2000s. Yeah, like it was like.
No, I think wait. Now I'm remembering
05,
something.
06, 07.
I'm remembering something.
Yeah.
The Murder Inc. 106 and Park era was when?
106 and Park. What you talk about? What AJ and Free?
Because 106 and Park was before the crunk era.
That was
it led into that, but that was probably it was during the bling era, leading into the crunk era.
Yeah,
and because the show changed, as you remember.
So
yeah.
when did Lil Jon? Not so much when did Lil Jon come out, but when did Lil Jon? I guess you could say that in crunk era influence.
Yeah.
What year did that start?
I believe 1999. No, 2000, early 2000s. No, after 2001. After 2001.
It would have to be
after
2001
into 2002. Because I remember, I'm remembering, but I said that I remembering 106 and Park when AJ and Free had Aaliyah on, and I'm like, well, Aaliyah died in 2001?
About that, right?
Yeah, 2001. Yeah, before.
Was it after 9/11 or before 9/11?
I think she died the summer of 2001.
Look that up.
The summer of 2001.
So basically, his first studio album came out in '97. The second one we still with the East Side Boys before
right.
The first East Side Boys was October 21st, 1997. Crunk was 2000. Put Your Hood Up is 2001. But Crunch Rock. When
was he got more popular? I would say with the airwaves when that joint B.I.B.I. came out.
Oh,
but I don't know what album that was on.
Yeah,
hold on, looking that up
because Pitbull.
That was on
with him because Pitbull was with him back then.
Yeah, that's his 2000.
Yeah.
That's
the album before Crunk Juice.
Yeah, it's 2001.
Okay, 2001. Okay, so
yeah, that had Ludacris, Too Short, Big Cap, and China White.
Exactly. Now that sparked that.
Yeah.
Because 2001 came and that single climbed.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we moved. Now we around that time there was still some balance because you still had Bow Wow.
Yeah, Bow Wow. Mm-hmm.
You still had you had. When did Ja Rule's Rule 336 come out?
Oh wow.
Because that was the album that really put him on the map.
Remember?
Yeah.
Juvenile. When Juvenile came out, that's what I remember.
Rule 336 had to be after Juvenile's album.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know.
October 10th, 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, see.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Rule 3, that was before. So, like you said, Cinema, you had the Murder Inc., because Murder Inc. took over the airwaves. Mm-hmm. You know, Ja Rule and Ashanti.
Right.
Ashanti, yeah, I remember. They
were chart topping.
Yeah.
Because remember, this was taking over video stations, but not radio yet if you were North.
Yeah.
It was in the radios on the South. So you know, I went down South. I was in Ohio and I heard this stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a mixture there because you're in the Midwest, you know. You go down to Tennessee, that's what they're pumping, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I went down to Nashville for a few trips doing some business. And, that's what was going down there because I was in Bible school 99 to 2001.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so, you have this, but when that single came out, that's when it started coming north. That's when you started getting play on radio.
Yeah,
but it was always on the video shows.
A lot of Southern hip hop. Like,
so what was the transition of New York radio not sounding like New York anymore? Because that had to be around that crunk era time.
Yes, it was. It was.
Yeah,
right. It was around.
Go ahead, Cinema. Speak on it.
About 2001. About when I got home, it started changing, and so. That's when you had a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of people wanted to disrespect New York. That's when roots started not mattering, where things came from or the history of the music.
Exactly. Yeah, they started they shifted towards the South, and they shifted,
it was more about this is what we're doing now.
Yeah, so it was a phase. Yeah, it was like a thing. Yeah, and.
But music, if you don't remember your history, you make the mistakes of your predecessors because you don't acknowledge the history.
Right.
And we're going to get to that because that's where we're at right now. But I would say even in the crunk era, I think we felt that way.
Yeah.
During the you know what? I'll say this. I'm sure any generation felt through any era some type of disrespect of the new guys with the veterans. I'm pretty sure they felt that. Like, I'm pretty sure somebody from KRS-One's era probably felt some way about somebody from Big Pun's era. That's a good way to say that because that's a further enough distance.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
and we have the example. Like me and my cousins in the Bronx, we were listening to Dr. Dre's Chronic, and it didn't really hit over here till a year later. And they used to diss us for listening to it. Then all of a sudden it blew. Then everyone's listening. Same thing with the Fugees' first album. Most underrated album. A lot of people haven't really heard that complete album. They just know the Nappy Heads remix because there's a video for it. They don't know the original version. And so you have a lot of times in transitions, a lot of good albums got lost or they hit a year after they were released. They had done everything. Then it's like a year later, the Chronic just blew because I heard it. And I said, whether it's our style or not, this is a classic album. This album's ridiculous. It's next level. And the whole thing was you could always, back then though, you could always bridge the gap because eventually there would be the connection. But this time with Crunk, there was a disrespect toward the old heads. So that's where we have the separation now, where the old heads don't listen to the young heads, and the young heads try to say you are old head.
Yes.
And they're like, you're the only generation that totally split yourself from hip hop, and you don't even really know the reason. And that go, because you're out there, you're getting pimped by the industry.
Yes.
And you don't even realize it.
Yes.
But we'll get into that later when we get to that part.
So I got a question for both of you guys, and I'm gonna give it to Zaccheus first.
Yes.
So now we talking about hip hop for sale. We talked about hip hop selling out. Has hip hop sold out completely? I would say that you saw some selling out happen, like we mentioned on last week, on the episode 10 of Mrs. Z and Fifth. We mentioned hip hop selling out early.
Yeah.
So even before now. So I would say when we got to a point, right, where we were seeing rap artists have endorsement deals. Now, some would say that that's selling out because now you're not only representing yourself, you're representing a brand, you're representing a product, and and what the corporations are using you to sell that product to the audience that listens to you. So let me ask this question, but it all depends on who used it. But rappers or musicians, well, let's keep it with rap because we talking about hip hop. MCs. Is it safe to say that MCs who got endorsement deals was basically were they basically selling out by taking endorsement deals? Would you say that's the start of it? Okay, let me do this better so that you answer, so that I can give you some time to really answer it. Is it safe to say that before it was about the art, okay, and the respect, right? Because you wanted to, if you a real MC, you want to be the best. Let's just be real. Whether even in gospel rap.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to be. Yeah.
You want to stand out to some degree, right?
Yes.
So is it safe to say that the selling out starts when now the artist is not so much about about his music, but now more so about the corporation that now wants to give him an endorsement deal. When an artist takes upon that, does that change the artist?
I think a lot of the new classical artists, the new artists, with the endorsement deals, it's a lot of, how could I say this? They benefit from it because a lot of us are not, a lot of the MCs are not broke anymore. They're not, they just don't depend on the music. They do other businesses like movies and do other businesses like clothing lines and do other stuff to get into where okay, they make that hip hop, instead of just focusing on the music itself. A lot of us, it was a certain point when I was, this is going off the topic too a little bit. Was a certain point when I was listening to hip hop at one point, and I said, wait a minute, why is all these MCs sounding alike? Why is their beats sounding the same? And that's going into trap music. I was wondering why they sounding the same. I was like, wait a minute. I was scratching my head and saying, wait, why they sound the same and everything. And I respected those who stayed true to who they are. Like Talib Kweli, Fat Joe, Nas, just to say a few, Snoop Dogg is not gonna change. Here's a name a few that's not gonna change their style. They'll flow with the beat, but they're not gonna change who they are. They'll
let their style grow, but they'll still be who they originally are.
Who they are, So the endorsement, going back to the endorsement deals, I think it helped because it gave them Another exposure more than just the music. It gave them like, okay, this is other ventures I can get into. When the music stops, this is something I can jump into. I'm not broke anymore. I'm not getting my homes taken. I'm not getting things taken from me or stuff. I have other things I can do. Like I can open up I can get my endorsements to open up a franchise or get into other like clothing line or certain businesses that they tap into. Like the biggest news was when Dr. Dre got the headphone deal. You know that's really big too. So all that. When it comes to endorsement, all that helps. Movie deals, you see them, some appearances in certain movies. Some became actors. You know, Common, you see him in a few movies. You know, there's a few.
He's doing very well.
Cool J branching the acting. As a
NCISLA.
NCISLA, yeah. A lot of them just branching the acting. So,
but that's not an endorsement deal, though.
No, it's not an endorsement.
I'm just saying specifically for an endorsement. Cinema, you go ahead.
Yeah, it started with this. When you signed a contract, which was the goal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But the goal was not to learn how to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a lot of people got contracts, but they ain't got no money.
Right.
And so your name is owned for 10 or 20 years. So they can't touch your record contract, can't touch your endorsements. So it got like the other people and the athletes. Okay, I'm playing for the league minimum, but here I'll get a commercial here and there. Ice Cube owned his own company, so he endorsed something he liked, St. Ides.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Wu-Tang.
And so,
Wu-Tang
so basically, back then, they were endorsing things they want. Yeah. But when you're under contract and you need that money, it's more of a desperation for money, not so much values. It's like, I'm in debt to this label because that's how the contract works. You're in debt.
Yeah.
I got to eat, I got bills, I got a family, and people think I'm rich, and I got a way to look that I got to uphold. So if he's going to give me money, if I'm going to put on this jacket, put on these clothes, put on whatever, and you're going to pay me something, they're going to take it,
Exactly. No, who are the MCs that got in good endorsement deals? Like as far as like
let's just start from the earlier time.
Okay.
So LL Cool J had an endorsement deal with FUBU.
Yes.
He is friends with Damon John.
Yeah.
And all of the creators of FUBU. Mm-hmm. The thing was, this business was owned by these brothers. Mm-hmm. So they didn't warrant LL Cool J to sell out.
Right.
But now we're talking about Ralph Lauren, Gap, and Tommy Hilfiger.
Yes.
Now, when they want a rapper, that's different. They want an image that is going to reflect their brand. Their brand does not reflect hip-hop culture. See, FUBU reflected hip-hop culture. So why tell LL Cool J to sell out? You see what I'm saying? So it all depends on the brand that you actually get endorsed by because, and Cinema, I'm glad you related to athletes. Here's the difference. An athlete is in a sport that doesn't require him to talk to make money. But MC is in a genre that requires him to use his mouth to make money. So therefore, what are they going to do? They're going to check what you say in your music. They're going to also check how you present yourself, how your image is. They're going to go through everything. They're going to see about the women you date. If you're a woman, the men you date. They're going to look into whatever is going on in the streets. They're going to look into all of these things that they probably wouldn't necessarily do this for other people. Let's just keep it real. I've never seen a company like Sprite or Gatorade fight somebody so hard in country music or rock and roll's not that good of an example because some rock and roll artists are out of their mind. Some. But country, folk music, even R&B, okay? Certain other genres, they won't touch you like they do hip-hop because hip-hop already has the negative connotations and stereotypes that was placed upon it before these companies even started looking at us. And one of the things about these companies, they were hoping for the downfall of hip-hop. And then so now what did they do? They said it's not going anywhere. So what we're going to do is that we're going to use them as branding. So now, like we said about the basketball players, is the shoes, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it be Nike, Adidas, right? Mm-hmm. But like I said, they help the company as long as they are performing well on the court. The music industry is a very seesaw industry because you're hot one year and then you're not the next. Yeah. So there's more. I believe, personally, I believe there's more pressure put on the rapper with an endorsement deal than the athlete.
Because you got to produce.
You got to produce. Yeah, you got to produce. Where the athlete don't just play.
Exactly.
But the artists got to produce, and they got to some artists got to even throw out the name like food sometimes in their music. And
also, this era also was the start of, or it may have been before that, I could be wrong, of these 360 deals. Cinema, speak on that. You know what a 360 deal is.
But before we even get into that, I want to just talk about the kid who saved money and they wouldn't take his money because they thought he stole the money and they were going to arrest him because he went to buy a belt his rapper wears from a high-profile store. Yeah.
I know what he's talking about.
And so...
This was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Right, because they wear these clothes from these high-profile places.
It was a Gucci belt.
The kid comes to buy a Gucci belt because his favorite rapper wore a Gucci belt, and he ends up dealing with the police when he saved all that money himself by working.
Wow.
Cinema, I know what you're getting into.
And so,
I know what he's getting to.
Right. So that marketing, you got all, because that leads into the 360 deal, all that stuff, all of that is because you have kids now, because you're wearing it, they're going to wear it. Even if it's not from their culture, because they see you in it.
Yes.
Why did we buy Jordans? Well, I didn't buy Jordans. My mother bought me the first pair of Jordans, and since I was a Knicks fan, I never bought another pair of Jordans.
Wow.
I got a pair of Kobe's upstairs, but I didn't buy no more Jordans. Mm-hmm. I don't hate. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, I hate LeBron." I said, LeBron will never get what Jordan got from me, right? Because I'm a Knicks fan. Jordan is the reason why we couldn't get to the finals. That's the only team that was able to stop us.
Yeah.
So so. Basically, you have him. You're talking. My brother brought up a valid point. Jordan didn't make his millions on the court. He made it in sneakers.
Yes.
Even after
he made it in his endorsements. You're right.
Yes, he did. Endorsements. Yes. Right. Yes, he did. He did.
So much so he was able to buy an NBA team
and still making money off those shoes. Yeah.
Owning and whatever else he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The only NBA player I know that is still retired few decades ago and still making money off his shoes, Jordan. Mm-hmm.
Well, the point you made, Shamik, I'm sorry, Cinema.
Yeah.
The point you made was is that you have a rapper who's endorsed by a brand geared towards an audience. The problem is when that audience, who happens to be a young black kid, let's just keep it real, he now wants to buy that thing. He wants to buy that Gucci belt that's $300. And then when he buys it, he gets discriminated against. He gets his civil rights violated. Mm-hmm. So then it goes to show this. What these endorsements will do for these rappers is let's just keep it real. They want to take the black out of them. Mm-hmm. They want to make them appear more they want the non-threatening black man. This is what they want to do. They want to take the black man who they feel is threatening, and then they want to make them non-threatening. Now, a lot of these businesses got tired of doing that. Then what they do is they go after the non-threatening rapper. They go after the rapper who today, right now, is rocking a dress.
Hey, I'm about to say that. I'm
about to hand it to you, Zaccheus, because it's too much work. It's too much work for Louis Vuitton and Christian Dior to get sticky fingers from Onyx and emasculate him. That's not going to work. So they're going to get the already emasculated artist. Speak on it, Zaccheus.
Yo, I've been peeping this for a while. I've been getting on YouTube and I've been peeping certain moves with hip hop for a while. When A$AP Rocky wore that dress, at that time I was like, wait a minute, why is he wearing a skirt? And when I see certain artists with skirts on, I was like, what are they trying to do? And then when I heard Louis Farrakhan speak about feminizing, they're trying to feminize
the
our brothers.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow. This is how they're changing the whole image. And this is what they're trying to do. This is what they do. They're trying to feminize it and make it more soft. So when people buy it, it's okay. It's not a threat no more. No longer looks like a threat.
Right.
So when I see that, I'm like saying to myself, I'm like, man, this is what the Bible talks about. It's just the change in the time. They're just changing it, and they can continue trying to change it. And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, yeah, it's coming to that time, where the population and the people are more feminizing this music, and it's not only it's in hip hop, and it seems like it's grown, but I respect the artists that say, you know what, I ain't doing it. Yo, you want to put me in a skirt? I'm not going. I'm going to keep it like this. I don't care if I don't get endorsements. I don't care if I'm not getting a lot of radio airplay. I'm not wearing a skirt. No, I'm not doing it. There are some artists that stood up. It's quite a few of them. I think we might know some that did stood up. Big up to Nas and a few other artists that say, listen, I ain't putting no. You ain't catching me in the skirt.
Even Chappelle.
Yeah, big up to Chappelle too. That said, listen, this is me. This is where I'm from. This is what it is. You're not catching me going on stage with a skirt.
Cinema, speak on Chappelle.
I'm going to speak on Chappelle, but I'm going to tell them what a 360 deal is. I went and got the definition, so I wouldn't mess it up.
Okay.
In the music industry, a 360 deal is a business relationship between an artist and a music industry company. The company agrees to provide financial and other support for the artist, including direct advances as well as support. You have to pay those advances back. Promotion, touring, other areas. In turn, the artist agrees to give the company a percentage of an increased number of their revenue streams, often including sales of recorded music, live performance, publishing, and more. And these are, these aren't the deals you want to take.
Right, because that means they get paid off of everything that you do outside of the studio. Because before it was the studio and anything that pertained to the label. We're talking about things that are away from the label. Like, for instance, I signed a 360 deal, and then I get a deal with Adidas. Guess what? My record label's getting a cut of that Adidas money.
Yes. My live concerts, everything. Anything I do, my features, anything. There is no way for me to make money without them getting a cut.
Wow.
You know why? Because they realize a lot of artists, remember I said about rappers taking these endorsement deals, right? The thing was, you had artists, whether it be rap and other genres, they might have been doing okay in their music, but doing well in acting. So now, when I want to get a movie deal, guess what? If I sign a 360 deal, the label's going to find some way to get some money from my acting.
Whoo! Wow. They don't want that.
This is why Ice Cube walked away from NWA. If you've seen Straight Outta Compton,
we did.
He said, I'm not signing anything. And that was the whole beef he had. And in his first album, I don't get the money. I get the money if I own it immediately. If it doesn't, you got to understand the channels, because when you make an album with a label, it takes years for your money to come back because it has to go through retailers and everything. And then
a minimum of 5 years. Oh, that's the minimum.
Right. You could be on your third album before you see cheddar for your first album, even if it went platinum. Then you finally get the money. So you're buying things on credit and stuff. So that's why you see a lot of people end up losing their houses and stuff. Yeah. They spend more money than that's going to come from that record trying to survive and live the life until that money comes back around.
I have a question. Is that the black card? I heard about a certain amount of money that's given to them.
That's an advance.
But the advance. Okay.
The advance is part of the money you make. This is an advance on it. That's not bonus money.
It's also a loan.
Right, it's a loan. So if you didn't get, like, there's people who have signing bonuses. Like, some people had signing bonuses. And I'm not going to mention nothing concrete because I don't have anything concrete. But, word on the street, some people got signing bonuses to help sign these other people.
That's true.
And who got advances.
You're talking about not so much the artist getting a signing bonus, but whoever who played a role in getting an artist with a deal, that person got paid too, right?
It was an artist / producer.
There you go.
And because I don't have, verification, I'm not calling names. And they got a whole bunch of artists signed to a label. They weren't in debt, but everybody else got advances and they got a bonus, which is different. And then that person got to walk away clean. And the rest of them was stuck in contracts.
That sounds just like when Ruthless Records started. Who got paid? Who got paid first?
Ruthless, yeah.
I'm talking. Okay, in that movie showed us. Thank you. That's what I wanted you to say.
He got paid first,
and he not even an artist.
But the whole thing is
That's a perfect example of it.
But the whole thing is about Jerry. They eventually got their money, but it takes forever. And that he didn't want to explain that to them. Because the second guy Interscope guy explained that to Cube. Cube says, I'd rather have a label, so I need the money now. Because, I have a settlement, but I need cash now,
That happened to a lot of artists back then. A lot of artists. They would sign a deal. All they want to do is sing. That's all they want to do is rap and sing.
Y'all know what 28th Street is, and I ain't going to call out nobody's name, but I saw old school rappers out there getting clothes to sell who had hit records.
Wow.
Chilling with them. I'm on 28th Street just, trying to get me a fake Knicks jersey because I'm a kid. And I run into a hip-hop legend, And he's like buying clothes to sell.
Buying clothes to sell.
A real conversation, which helped me, why, I rather ghost or get my cash and not really sign nothing or just sign something for one thing and then take my money and walk away. When you're one-on-one and nobody else knows who he is, real candid conversation. Great lookout. Have mad respect for that dude. Dude probably don't even remember who I am. But, that's just one of those things. When you have that, because, people got the 360 deals, they got the label deal, and the whole thing is they don't need a 360 deal. They're making things off of your sales, your streams, your plays. The company makes as much as that. And remember, most of these people aren't writing their own stuff nowadays like it used to be. So they're not even getting their writing and publishing.
Oh my gosh.
You could live off of your writing and publishing if you're a writer.
Yeah.
And a lot of these singers sing other things. Let's talk about Reba McEntire. You want to do something with her now? She's getting half of the publishing, even if she didn't write it. Yeah. That's what a lot of singers are doing now. And even songwriters will say, okay, let them write a little with you and let them get half of the publishing. It's going to be a hit. That's the new thing, right? Artists are trying to find a way to survive. But if you have a 360 deal, they got your publishing.
Wow, they own it.
Right. You don't get money from writing. And you're quick to sign and you're quick to play with the industry and they're taking you. Basically, this is the new legal way because remember, the artists back in the days, I know artists who wrote stuff with that and then they had to have a lawsuit for everybody in the 50s and 60s. All those songs back then, the Motown era and all that stuff.
Man, all they want to do was sing. I'm serious.
But the whole thing is there's a lawsuit.
Yeah.
If you did singing or writing back then, there was a flat settlement. And then from then, they've come up with legal, diabolical ways to get over now. But if you sign it, you're gone.
This happened. This I'm just gonna name a few people that happened. That happened to TLC It happened to a few. It happened, like you said before, it happened to a lot of artists back then, way back then.
It happened to New Edition.
Happened to New Edition, yeah. Happened to New Edition.
You're
making big money.
And they get dropped off at the projects.
Yeah, he's still living in the projects, and and you're touring. Music is on the radio and still living in the projects. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You think Prince was on TV with Slave on his face?
Oh, Prince, right? At that time,
trying to tell us something. But then again, you have these artists who don't want to say they got. And so you will sign and we'll take you where we got. And they do it to other people instead of showing you the truth.
Some people just want to get exposed.
I'm not even going to talk about people who made a bunch of money off of Bieber.
Yeah.
You know who they are. I ain't getting sued.
Yeah, they got some people that do music. They got some people that record music and do music. They feel that they cannot put music out unless they're signed to a deal. I've met people like that. Because
that's the mentality we have. Mm-hmm. We saw, Jay got signed. LL got signed to Def Jam. Yeah. That's the dream. Mm-hmm. But we've never taught each other how to make money. And so when you have stuff for sale, you have so much. It's harder to do it yourself. We talked about that last podcast.
Yes, we did.
You went and did so. And then you could, my closing statement, because a lot of these things people don't want you to know. And it's like, okay, they'll have you sign before you take a publishing deal, which is more legit. They have you afraid of publishing deals. I have friends who were afraid. No, the publisher's going to take a piece because he's promoting and he's doing work for you. But you're going to get a high percentage of that.
We're going to do an episode in the future on specifically congratulating and celebrating those who are independent.
We should do that.
We're gonna give as much information and tips on how to be independent.
Yes, we should.
We'll make that we'll make that a soon episode.
Yeah.
We have to close it. We're not. Yeah. We have to make this a part 3.
Yes, I was about to say that
because there's a lot of things.
We haven't even got to the crunk era yet.
No, we haven't even dived past that. We were still kind of stuck there.
Yeah, stuck in the crunk era.
But we have to get save this for part 3, and this is what I want to kind of put in for part 3. This is kind of like my closing, and then I'll hand it to Zaccheus and Cinema. I'll let you close. Okay. So. Next episode, I want to get into also the changing of the content.
Right.
Because when I was talking about the endorsement deals, there's also a change in the content.
Yes.
There's also there's also a change in, and also when it comes to certain branding and appearances that people have done when it comes to the music industry, So I also want to touch on more on the shadiness of the industry, and also why artists do compromise. We want to give an actual take on why artists would compromise and be happy with it, and those who have done it, who we know of, who now regret doing it. Okay, so we're gonna get into that, and I know this is based off of Hip Hop for Sale, but I'm gonna use other examples and other. We're going to use other artists from other genres as examples. I want to go more into Prince, Lil Richard.
Yeah.
Great example. Prince. Yeah. Great example. Lil Richard. Great example.
Yeah.
The Beatles got took at first.
Beatles,
right.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned Prince too, right?
I mentioned Prince. And earlier, Cinema said Motown.
Motown, yeah.
So, but I want to, what we want to do is relate that to the hip hop industry, so that's why they are great examples.
Yes.
Okay, because then I also want to talk about the cultural appropriation that also goes with selling out with hip hop, and we haven't even touched that.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this all goes all the way back to Elvis before Elvis. So we're gonna get into how that relates to hip hop.
Yes.
Zaccheus, you go next.
Yeah, man. So Hip Hop for Sale, man, is a thing that it needs to be. You could speak about it so much because we've seen changes. Cause we grew up in hip hop. If you're born in the 70s and 80s, you seen the changes in the music. There's changes in the messages. There's changes in how people look and what they wear and what certain thing, the influence of what the media wants and what, I'm gonna say the word Illuminati. What Illuminati wants and what Illuminati wants to expose and
white supremacy.
White not a word for white supremacy. Want to make us do. And hip hop for sale, yeah, we sold it, and this is where we at today. So that's my closing.
Right. My closing is this: you see the 360 deals, you see all this stuff. Get an entertainment lawyer that is not connected with anyone you're dealing with.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I want to say this now. Because you might be listening and you might have to meet with somebody. If they give you a lawyer, that's not the dude for you. You don't ever let the person you're making a deal with determine who deals for you.
Right. That's a big mistake.
And then it's like you tell them, just like you tell your manager and people, this is what I want and this is what I don't want to do. Mm-hmm. And stick to your guns. Mm-hmm. It's, stick to your guns. Mm-hmm. Because once you sign that, there's so many stories of people saying, oh, I had a bad feeling, but I did it anyway because they were saying do it. Because once your pen's to ink and it's legal and they have all the people there and they have the witnesses and everything's signed, there's nothing you can do till that's up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And people have been signed to just shelf them.
Yes, I heard about that too. Yep.
And I heard about that too. We'll get more into that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cinema, where can they reach you?
At Cinemascapes at IG, Twitter. I have a page on Facebook. You just look up Cinemascapes, the word cinema, and then Scapes, SEAPES. It's actually it's a film term. So it'll come up. You could search Google, or you could search my government if you heard it earlier in the show.
Yeah, by accident.
Well, I go, I have a YouTube. My YouTube is Shamik Cinemascapes Jones. So
right. Mm-hmm. We have no problems. I'm Jason Swain.
Yeah.
So the fifth general and Jason Swain are the same people. So we have no problem. Yes. Mm-hmm. Zaccheus, where can they reach you?
Can reach me at Zaccheus B73 on Instagram, and on Twitter you can reach me at Wayne Bacchus 2 on Twitter, and on Facebook Wayne Zaccheus Bacchus, or just Wayne Bacchus Bacchus. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, you can reach me at the Fifth General, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We will continue this conversation next week. Hip Hop for Sale, part 3. Mm-hmm. This is episode 2. That will be episode 2 of the Round Circle.
It's Round Circle, yeah.
We want to thank everybody who's listening to the first episode of the Round Circle, and we have a great future ahead.
Yes.
And we love everybody who's listening and will continue to listen. We ask you to join us on this journey and be patient with us. We're going to get to where we could be a better service to you.
Yes.
All right? So this is the Fifth General signing off.
And Mr. Z.
All right?
And Cinemascapes.
All right. We're going to see y'all next time. Peace.